first snow day somewhere in Minnesota. Keep watching the weather, and fall sports are going to become even more interesting this year. Our goal this morning is to take a half an hour or less and cover a couple of quick topics around the website and an officials piece also. We'll continue to do these sessions as we have topics that we feel may be helpful to you. We're doing the same session at 12 o'clock today, so if you know others who might be interested in that, and then trusting that either Amanda or Amy has also hit record, this will also go on to the Getting Started guide for you. So just a quick round of introductions. Those of you that I may not know face-to-face, as in Zoom, my name is Laura Mockentune, and my current role is as an assistant director with the Minnesota State High School League. We have at least 3 other league staff on today joining us. Jason Nickleby, who's the coordinator of officials, is going to work with us a little bit around an officials piece. And Amanda Johnson and Amy Ince, who I believe many of you probably deal with some emails from and some conversations with, are also here today. And Amanda and Amy are going to work in the chat today. So if there are questions that you have and want to pop those into chat, they'll work to help you through some of those as we're moving on today. I would encourage you to use chat today for those things that apply to the session and the things that we're talking about. And if you have questions on other things, info@mshsl.org is the best way to get quick responses to those things. There are several of us that work within that email box. So we kind of tag team through it. If you email one of us individually and we happen to be tied up or busy with something else, you may wait longer than if you go to that info@mshsl. A thank you to each of you. Your work continues to be incredibly important in so many things, specifically today thinking around the website. Together, we are building a website that we intend to become a one-stop shop for common information for our member schools. We know this is an ongoing process, and it will continue to be built. We are serving member schools through this, but also a much larger public audience. I hear from people daily who want to know more about your schools and your programs, whether that is media, whether that is fans, whether that is college coaches, a wide variety of people who want to know more about Minnesota State High School League, want to know more about your school, and want to know more about your programs and how they're going. And the other thing we just continue to work through is learning those management tools. So it's really 2 things. It's that public website, and it's the management tools that help you manage your program. And those intersect for many of you. A couple of resources and things for you. That Getting Started guide, which you continue to see linked different places. This is really meant to be that one-stop shop with little mini tutorials and bits of information about different parts of the website. You'll see us in the info email box, often just linking the right one of these and sending them to you. And while we're happy to do that and help you find the right spot, if it helps you at all to just go here and find these yourself, you're welcome to do that. You're also welcome to take any one of these and just link and send to your coaches. So as you begin to work with your winter coaches, et cetera, to get in, sending them this URL and just popping that out to them may be very helpful. I want to just confirm, if you give me a head nod, that you're seeing my screen right now. Okay, because I lost the usual banner I get around it. So just want to make sure that I'm seeing this. But please continue to use this Getting Started guide, both for you and for your coaches. We do have a spot up at the top here where we continue to do just kind of those, here are things we know right now that aren't working. Here are those things on the coming, and here are the things on the new list that you may want to be aware of. We work to communicate these also out in updates, but if you kind of want that one-stop shop for, do they know that emergency action plans aren't working correctly right now? Yep, we know that. So feel free to check this, might save you some frustration as you continue to move through the year. And then we just ask that you provide as much support to your coaches as you can. The sheer number of coaches, if you help us out by supporting them and we support you, just helps make everybody's life a little bit easier. A couple notes for you on some upcoming website items. These are the pieces right now, the big pieces that are in progress. Transfers and reviews, we were at a really good spot, about to roll that out before the school year started and hit a rather major bump. It has actually kind of been sitting now because we just made the decision internally that we needed to go with one system for a while. So transfers and reviews are almost ready to go. We're just at this point trying to figure out the right time to roll that out. And knowing that we're going to move from fall to winter, want to have you working in two systems as little as possible. So we're continuing to work through that. Rosters, schedules, and results on the Our School tie-in is under development. And that continues to be a piece that we do not have access to yet, but that will start to appear over the next month or so also. So just know that those are the two big pieces that are being built. Everything we see around them continues to be promising. And it simply becomes a resources piece of how many people do we have working on a project and financially, what can we afford to push forward in a month. So those are on progress. Today, the three things that we're going to look at, one is making sure that you know and have added your school medical personnel. The second is adding head coaching certification information. And then we're going to look at using Arbiter to view eligible officials. So I'm going to jump back to that getting started guide. And there's a set of instructions down at the bottom for adding medical personnel. And this piece has been new learning for me. The number of medical personnel I've heard from who are frustrated and feeling like they're struggling to support your athletes the best they can because they communicate with each other from home to away games. And while you might be very aware of that, that was incredibly new learning for me. So on your Edit School page, there's a spot to go in and add your medical personnel. Medical personnel are then listed on the public side with both an email and a phone number. So I'm going to jump into my Test AD account right now. And it looks like in my Test AD account, I am tied to Canby High School today. So as I am in my Test AD account and edit my school, down toward the bottom, there's a spot for athletic trainer. And it has 3 different fields that when those are filled in, those will go to the public side of your website. So it's that person's name with any credentials, their phone number, and their email address. And you may want to communicate with that person on your staff to assure exactly which email or phone number they want. They've been working with their statewide organization also to promote getting this out there. So you may have heard from them already saying, can you please list me? But work with that person to say, what do you want shown on the public website? And then those people can work together among their groups. The second piece is talking about head coaching certification. So back on the Getting Started guide, there's a link called Adding Head Coach Information. And if you remember right, last spring before the old website went down, we asked you to make a record of how your coaches had received their head coaching certification. So now is the time to go in and do the one-time add of that into the website. That then ties to that individual, that coach's record. So this is a one-time piece to update those. If you have coaches after this year that move from one district to another, that should be there for them when they come to your district. So it's really cleaning up right now. Anybody on your coaching staff, whether they're a current head coach or not, that they're noted as having head coaching certification. So obviously your head coaches must have this, but if you have someone who's in a junior high or other high school or assistant coaching role, you also want to make sure that their head coaching gets noted on here so that if and when they become a head coach, that's a part of their record. So again, one-time piece of a cleanup piece. So again, I'm logging into my account as an AD. I'm going to go to the coaches tab and find my coach, edit them, mark which way they've become a head coach, and save it. Now, 2 error messages that you may see when you do this. One is if you see a message and when you save this saying that the website's encountered an error, please try again. Most likely that is because that coach has not set up his or her account yet. So they haven't logged in that second time and set up their password and added their email and done all of the work to set up their account. So said differently, you get that email that says somebody's requested membership. When you click add them as a member, an email goes back to them and they have to finish setting up their account. Then you can add their head coaching certification. In a perfect world, and hoping we can find a way to possibly adjust this, you would be able to accept them and add their head coaching immediately and be in there once. Unfortunately, at this point, you accept them, they go do their work, and then you can add them as the head coach. The second piece is if you see a one that says this email is already taken, those are people that somehow sneaked through early in the process and may have 2 accounts, and we just need to fix those people. So again, the short story here is if you see this error message, connect with that coach and say, did you go in and set up a password and set up your account? If you see these messages and you're stumped, that's a message to info@ and just say, I'm having trouble assigning this person a head coaching certification. Can you help me out? And we'll dig into what's happening with those. So I'm going to jump back into my Canby High School account here. And so when I click into coaches, one thing you'll notice here too is based on feedback, we've done some tweaking to the coaches education report. This is now broken into 3 different seasons to try to keep your list a little bit smaller. And the name on the left side is now sticky. So as you scroll across, that name remains there. If you remember right, some of you were really struggling with, especially with big coaching staffs, to try to use this. Those were 2 rather easy tweaks we could make. We do have a few other fixes that we hope to add to make this a little bit more usable, but they're bigger pieces. So hoping this is helpful right now to see all of your fall coaches and have that sticky so that as you scroll across, you can see what they've completed. To add a head coaching access, I'm going to pick a coach and then edit that coach. Down at the bottom, I get to choose how that person met their head coaching certification and save. So whichever of these is appropriate for them. Unfortunately, once you pick one, you can't unpick anything. So NA really means kind of, I goofed up. This person doesn't have a head coaching certification. They are an NA. So sometime within the next near future, if you or someone on your staff, please take the time to work through your coaching staff and assign that head coaching certification to them. Amy Ince does have access to some of the old information. So if you run across a coach that somehow came to your staff and you don't have the right paperwork and it's become a mystery, reaching out to Amy can maybe help you with that mystery if they're not able to provide that information for you. I'm seeing one quick question of, can I print a list of my current coaches? That's the one that we want to add on yet, to allow you to download that CSV file of all of your coaches so that you could sort and filter that however you want. So that is still on the list of that needs to get built. It's just a bigger piece right now to get done. Again, continue. If you've got questions and want to use the chat to answer or to ask some of those, we've got people who will jump in and answer some of those also. So the third topic for today, I'm going to move on to officials. So on your AD dashboard, one of the buttons that's here is an officials directory. So in the officials directory, it leads you to a separate page, which has a button, some instructions, some information about eligibility, and then a tutorial video for this. So at this point, I'm going to invite Jason Nickleby to join us and share a little bit just about talking about using the directory. And then after Jason's done talking, we'll jump in and actually move through the directory and do a quick tutorial of that.
Thanks, Laura. Just want to kind of take a step backwards and talk about the history of the directory and just where we're moving. So the directory, when it was part of the old high school league website, it had a list of names. And if they completed the requirements, they would stay on the directory. If they paid the following year, they would stay on the directory. And a lot of ADs would use that list to search for officials to use in contests, particularly in track and field and other sports where there isn't associations to assign officials. So that's what that directory was used for. Now the directory had some flaws, namely it did not have a picture. So any official could say, well, I'm Mike Smith, and there was 17 Mike Smiths, and they could say they were one of them, and that might be the extent of the verification. The second flaw, and that flaw still exists, is that we still need to check eligibility of officials at the site on the day of the game, because the person who checks in on Tuesday isn't necessarily the person that shows up on Thursday. And just speaking from the first week of football, unfortunately, we had a couple of catastrophic injuries. And if during the course of investigating and finding out more about those situations, if they found out an ineligible official was on the game, just about all of us would be in big trouble. So we just need to do a better job of building verification of eligible officials into our procedure, our protocol for game day. And again, it doesn't have to be you. ADs are very busy. You have a number of things going on. Have the coach check, have a site manager, if you have one, have them check. We just need to see what we can do to improve the number of times that we are checking eligible officials at the site. The officials should be showing you their eligibility badge, which is their picture and their badge from their profile tab on Arbiter. If they have a color-coded badge for that sport, that means that they are good for regular season. They've done everything they need to do to work varsity contests. And remember, they're not necessarily required to be fully eligible to work JV, 10th grade, 9th grade, although we always encourage as many eligible officials to be used as possible, because they are getting a background check, having a test, concussion module, et cetera. So just a little background on the directory from before. And now this directory that you're seeing here, all ADs were added into Arbiter, and you'll have your own login, password, and way to get in to see these lists. And we will send you the tutorial video on how to log in to this site. And this site will show you officials that are eligible for varsity contests. So if you went in today, you are going to see various lists of sports, regular season, section, state, reciprocity, all the various levels of officials that we have. The ones that you should search would be regular season for a sport or reciprocity for that sport. And you can search by name in that list. And all the officials that are listed on those drop-down menus are eligible for varsity contests. If they're not eligible, they will not be on the list. In addition, you can not look at names at this time of people that are not eligible. So for example, if you choose regular season track and field, the list is going to be blank because the officials in track have not completed their requirements yet. Once they complete all their eligibility requirements, they will be automatically populated to that list, and you can choose from that list to see if they're eligible officials. And we would use this list to verify that officials are eligible. So if a volleyball official checks in for a Tuesday match, you can go to volleyball regular season, look for their name, verify that they're on there, and then make sure that that is the person that does show up on Tuesday at your match. So that would be the protocol and the procedure that we would use. Again, the officials are showing their eligibility badge and picture at the site. There is no eligibility badges on this list, on this directory. However, if you click on their name on the list, you can see their picture and where they're from and their contact information. So if that's something that you want to know in advance, you can go to the list of officials regular season for that sport, find their name, click on their name, you can see their picture, get their information. So we're going to just kind of show you how that looks. And again, we will send you we will send you the tutorial on how to log in to view these directory lists. Laura, are we going to
Yep.
show them? Perfect.
Sure. So again, I got to this page by clicking on officials directory. And if you are in your AD dashboard, your officials directory. One quick hint, those of you that are both coaches and ADs, your new quick way to switch back and forth between those two is down in the footer. So if you find yourself in the wrong dashboard and you have more than one dashboard, you can switch back and forth down here. So when I click on officials directory, it brings me to this page. Here is the video tutorial on how to do that. We embedded that right into this page. So while we do follow, when we do follow up with you with some information, know that that video is already here. So just walking down this page, and actually I'm going to do reverse. Here's the tutorial. Here's the information that Jason shared. First of all, this is what you're seeing here. This list will show you eligible officials. And just that reminder that you must also check who walks in your door for a contest. So that's there. And just a side note, those of you who assign section officials, you'll also be able to see those here. So if that fits your role also. Continuing to work back up, ADs were imported into Arbiter using their email address as their username. So we believe that about 99% of you, we imported into Arbiter and created an account for you. There may be a few that we missed for one reason or another with some of you who shifted roles. This work was done partially in August and partially about a week ago. So again, there may be some of you that got missed. If you don't have an account, officials@mshsl is the place to email and say, I do need an account set up. Your account, you'll probably need to go through the password reset process, and that will get you into your account. So when you get to Arbiter, do the I forgot my password, it'll put in your email, it'll email you, you go in and set up your account. So this gold button takes you to Arbiter, and I'm going to log in, always the moment of truth, with my fake AD account. Only 2 guesses, that's pretty good. So, and again, the tutorial will walk you through this, but when I click on lists, this brings me a list of eligible officials. So just walking a little bit through this window, you know, right now there are 6,755 people in my list because I am showing all eligibility for all different associations. I can also come in and say, so I want to limit this down. I want to see just the regular season volleyball officials. And this now filters down to 393 eligible volleyball regular season officials. So these people, anybody who is on this list, has met all of the eligibility criteria to be eligible to work varsity volleyball games. Clicking on that person's name brings me more information about them. I know that some of you need to double check or prove home addresses somehow for your business office. This is now your place to get this. So you're seeing the person's name, email, phone number. There's that picture for them. Currently not showing badges, but everybody on this list is an eligible official. Does tell you if they're a part of any associations also, which may be helpful to you. You can quickly see their email address here, but if you want more information about that person, you can jump into here. Jason shared, so there are lots of eligibility periods here. MSHSL officials, some of them are reciprocity. So those of you who live especially near borders, some of your officials may be in this reciprocity area. There's regular season officials, and then section and state tournament officials. So if you are an assigner somehow for section tournaments, you can also jump in and see this here. So section managers will be available in here, as will, they'll have access to this, as will some of those site managers who run some of those tournaments. The other option I have is a roster where I can come in and print or print to a screen in Excel or PDF information about that group of officials. So if I want an Excel copy of my officials, this is where it actually downloaded to my desktop, I can get that, which puts their address on one sheet. So I see Bill's question about that searching by zip code. That is not currently a feature, but the feature here of being able to download that list, and once that's in Excel, you can kind of see those officials who are near you in that area. So that may be an option that helps you get through that for right now. Again, reminder that these are eligible officials. One of my learnings coming to the league was the difference between the words registered and eligible. Registered means that person has signed up and paid some money. Eligible means they've done the things they need to become eligible. They've done their learning, they've passed a background check, etc. So just thinking about the difference between those two. I'm excited that we're taking a step forward with getting you information about officials and hoping to make that process smoother for, at this point, it's really those current season officials that you're seeing eligibility for. That list is always updating. So as winter sports start to open, you'll start to see a small list of winter sports officials that are eligible. And then as more and more of them complete their test and complete their online learning, you'll start to see additional ones of those. So at this point, want to just thank everybody. We went 1 minute over. We came really close to our target today. Just a reminder that that Getting Started guide should be helpful to you to become self-sufficient in some things. info@mshsl.org is your email to use when you just need a hand. We're here to help you out with those things. And when you need that help, please reach out to us. We will post this video on the Getting Started guide help spot also. And know that on Thursday, we're doing one more round of these this week, and we'll talk about the school and coach directories on Thursday. Again, an exciting piece that we're happy to roll out and happy that it's ready. So with that, have a great day, everyone, and thank you for your time.